5 hours per week. That is the realistic constraint most adults over 40 are actually working with when they try to build AI income. Alongside a full-time job, family responsibilities, and the other demands of a real life. Not 10 hours. Not 20.5. The frustrating reality is most AI income advice assumes significantly more time. It's built for someone who can dedicate evenings, weekends, and early mornings. That person exists, but it's probably not you if you're watching this channel. This video is specifically for the 5-hour week, what you can realistically build within that constraint, what you should stop trying to do, how to allocate the 5 hours for maximum impact, and what 5 hours per week consistently protected over 3 years actually compounds into. Let's start. With honest scope setting, 5 hours per week cannot run all 3 income layers simultaneously in year 1. Attempting to build a content channel, service multiple clients, and launch digital products all at once produces scattered effort and mediocre results. The 5-hour blueprint is sequenced, one layer at a time. Done well before layering in the next. Here is what 5 hours per week can realistically build across a 3-year timeline. In year 1, 5 hours per week can produce 2 pieces of content published weekly, enough to build a real presence over 6 months. It can produce your first digital product and 1 to 2 service clients. The realistic income range for year 1 is $2,000 to $5,000. In year 2, the same 5 hours produces more because the system is compounding. Content from year 1 continues generating views and subscribers. The product is refined, selling more consistently. Service delivery is more efficient. The realistic income range for year 2 is $8,000 to $18,000. In year 3, 5 hours per week feels like less work. Not because you're doing less, but because the system is doing more itself. Old content generates new subscribers. The product sells while you sleep. Service clients refer new clients. Income range for year 3 is $18,000 to $36,000. 3 years, 5 hours per week. That is a meaningful retirement supplement built consistently in the margins of an existing full-time life. Here is the exact hour-by-hour allocation that makes this work. Hours 1 and 2 every week are dedicated exclusively to content creation. 2 hours produces 2 to 3 pieces of content using the high-assisted process. That's 8 to 12 pieces per month. Enough volume to build a real presence and train the algorithm that your channel is active and reliable. During these hours, you write the script, paste it into CapCut, review the output, and export. The process is streamlined enough that 2 hours covers to complete videos. Hour 3 every week is for distribution and engagement, publishing finished videos with optimized titles and descriptions, responding to every comment, checking engagement, and looking at click-through rates. This hour maintains your audience relationship and improves future content. Hour for every week is for product or service work. What you do with this hour changes based on your build stage. In months 1 through 3, it's building your first free resource and paid product. Months 4 to 6, delivering service work or improving the product. Months 7 to 12, adding the third income layer. Hour 5 every week is for strategic review and forward motion. You spend 30 minutes reviewing what performed this week, what resonated, and what the data tells you. Then, 30 minutes sending outreach messages or making specific improvements to your product description. That is the complete 5-hour week. Content. Distribution. Product or service, strategy. Every week, without exception. The framework only works if the 5 hours are protected like a scheduled appointment, not found opportunistically. People who build meaningful AI income carve out and defend specific hours each week. This means putting the 5 hours on the calendar. Communicating to those around you that these hours are committed. Treating a missed session with the same seriousness as a missed work meeting. Aspirational time that appears when convenient compounds into nothing. Protected time that happens consistently compounds into income. If 5 hours is genuinely not available right now due to life circumstances, that's important information. Now might not be the right time. Starting underpowered will produce frustrating results. But if 5 hours is available and you're not protecting it, that's a prioritization decision. Given what retirement math looks like for most adults, It's worth asking if 5 hours per week is worth protecting to change your retirement picture. If 5 hours per week is your reality, the AI Content System Starter Kit is designed to produce publishable content within a 2-hour session. It's the most time-efficient content process available. The link is in the description. And to see what 5 hours per week compounds into, the free AI Catch-Up Calculator shows you the math. The link is also in the description. One final point, the 5-hour week is not a ceiling. It is a floor. If more time becomes available, use it. But use it in specific ways that build on the existing structure, not creating new complexity. Additional time is best used for more content production, deeper product development, more outreach, and more careful review. It should not be used to add entirely new platforms or income streams before existing ones are stable. Adding complexity before the core system is efficient is a reliable way to produce confusion and scattered effort. The 5-hour framework works because it forces simplicity. Each of the 5 hours has a defined purpose. No ambiguity. When more time becomes available, additional hours should have the same clarity. More content creation using the existing process. More outreach using the existing script. More product improvement based on existing feedback. More review using existing analytics. Complexity added before the simple system is optimized disperses energy. Stay simple until the system is producing consistently, then add complexity deliberately. 5 hours per week is enough. To build something real. More hours, used wisely, build it faster. But the wisdom comes from mastering the 5 hours first. The discipline of the constraint teaches you how to use additional capacity effectively. There's an important distinction between the 5-hour framework and the reality most people experience when they start. In theory, 5 hours allocated clearly produces an efficient process. In practice, the first few weeks feel messier than described. Content creation hours take longer at the beginning. The script takes longer, the CapCut workflow is new, review and export have friction. For the first 3 to 4 weeks, 2 hours might actually require 3 or 3.5. That is expected and temporary. By week 5 or 6, the process is familiar, and 2 hours produces quality content comfortably. The friction of the learning curve is a one-time cost. The same applies to the product and outreach hours. Both have a learning curve that makes them slightly more expensive in time during the first month. Both smooth out significantly once the underlying process is familiar. The practical implication is this: in the first month, protect 6 or 7 hours. Give the learning curve the time it requires without feeling like the framework is broken. By month 2, the same output is achievable in 5 hours, and the framework settles into its long-term rhythm. This is worth knowing in advance because the most common reason people abandon the framework is that it doesn't feel like 5 hours in week 2. They conclude the system is not workable. But the issue is not the system. It is the temporary cost of learning the process. Stay with it for 6 weeks before evaluating whether the time allocation is genuinely accurate for your situation.